because it won a lot of prizes in the past. It won the International Impact Dublin Literature Award in 2003. It is one of the most important books in architecture. The author of the book makes things talk. He humanizes things. It reflects the times of the Ottoman Empire. Besides these great awards, it made its author win a Nobel Prize in Literature in 2006.
Hello everyone, I'm going to tell you something about Orhan Pamuk's life, his biography. Orhan Pamuk was born in Istanbul in 1982 and grew up in a large family in the wealthy westernized district of Nişantaşı. As he writes in his autobiographical book Istanbul, from his childhood until the age of 22, he devoted himself largely to painting and dreamed of becoming an artist. After graduating from the secular American Robert College in Istanbul, he studied architecture at Istanbul Technical University for 3 years, but abandoned the course when he gave up his ambition to become an architect and artist. He went on to graduate in journalism from Istanbul University, but never worked as a journalist. At the age of 23, Pamuk decided to become a novelist, and giving up everything else retreated into his flat and began to write.
His first novel, Cevdet Bey and His Sons, was published in 1982, and it was awarded both Orhan Kemal and Milliyet literary prizes. The following year he published another novel, The Silent House, and it was also awarded with a French Literature Award. In 1985 he published The White Castle in English and many other languages, and this brought him his first international fame. The writer's books have been translated into 63 languages. He has also received the 2005 the Peace Prize and the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2006.
His novel The New Life was published in Turkey in 1994 and became one of the most widely read books in Turkish literature. My Name is Red was published in 1998. This novel won 3 awards. From the middle of 1990s, Pamuk took a critical stance towards the Turkish state in articles about human rights and freedom of thought, although he took little interest in politics. Snow, which he describes as my first and last political novel, was published in 2002. This book was selected as 100 books of 2004 by the New York Times. In 1999, a selection of his articles was published under the title Other Colors. In 2008, Pamuk published The Museum of Innocence.
Apart from 3 years in New York, the writer has spent all of his life in the same streets and the same district of Istanbul, and is still living in the house in which he was raised. He has done nothing except from writing for 40 years, and he is still continuing.
One of Orhan Pamuk's books, Mr. Cevdet and His Sons, which published in 1982, won the Orhan Kemal Nobel Prize in 1983. It tells the story of 3 generations of a wealthy family living in Nişantaşı, Istanbul, and Nişantaşı is where Orhan Pamuk grew up. His historical novel, Beyaz Kale, which means The White Castle, published in 1985, won the 1990 Independent Award for Foreign Fiction and extended his reputation abroad. A new star has risen in the East, Orhan Pamuk stated the New York Times. Popular success took a bit longer to counter Pamuk, but his 1990 novel, The Black Book, Kara Kitap, became one of the most controversial and the popular readings in the Turkish literature. Pamuk's books are characterized by a confusion or a loss of identity brought on and part of conflict between Western and Eastern values. They are often disturbing or unsettling but include complex plot and characters. On the 12th October 2006, the Swedish Academy announced him that he has been awarded for 2006 Nobel Prize in Literature. Pamuk held his lecture on 7th December 2006 in the Swedish Academy in Stockholm. The lecture was entitled My Father's Suitcase, Babamın Bavulu, and was given in Turkish. Pamuk's books broke a record and sold over 200,000 copies after the announcement of his success, leading to him becoming the Sweden's best-selling recipient of the Nobel Prize in Literature.
Today we are here to talk about our third book, Benim Adım Kırmızı,
Which named My Name is Red in English.
and we are going to talk about its summary.
Kara returned to Istanbul to visit after 12 years absence to visit his uncle, also his former teacher. Kara learns that Elegant Efendi has been harmed and missing, so he returned to Istanbul to solve this problem.
The plan is for this illustrated volume to be presented to these Western diplomats to circulate through Europe as evidence of Sultan Murad's power, wealth, and intelligence.
While Kara and Enişte are discussing art in general as well as Sultan's secret commission, a messenger arrives with news that Elegant Efendi has in fact been murdered and that his corpse has been found at the bottom of a well.
Murat is angry that one of his illustrators has been murdered, and as a knowledgeable outsider, Kara is charged with finding the murder within 3 days, or he will suffer the consequences. Black has now been infatuated with Shakira and devises strategies to be alone with her, so he might declare his love, a passion about which Shakira is irrelevant.
Kara interviews all the illustrators attached to the Sultan's court, men he had known as boys when they all apprenticed together. Kara attempts to ascertain which camp each illustrator falls into.
The story continues. Enişte Efendi gets closer to finding Elegant's murderer when suddenly he himself is murdered by a visitor to his home. Afterwards, the Sultan calls a thorough investigation, threatening to torture all the miniaturists if the murderer is not found. In a surprising turn of events, the murderer is discovered, calling into question the nature of artistic style and its relationship to the divine.
Hi, I'm going to talk about Enişte and then Şeküre. Enişte means uncle in English. He is an old man who gave a promise to write a book with pictures to Sultan. He is Şeküre's dad. He has been to Europe and he was impressed by the pictures in there and he wanted to make one done for Sultan too. Although he is a father, he is a weak character. He redresses the balance between the good and the bad. Şeküre is the uncle's daughter whom Kara loves but can't obtain, a poor woman who's trying both to manage her own life and protect her sons while under the shadows of her husband, who hasn't come back from war, her husband's family and her father.
It means black in English. He is naive, emotional, brave and introvert. He looks tall, slim and handsome. He has loved Şeküre since he was a young boy. He asks Enişte to finish his books so that he can marry with her daughter Şeküre. And Master Osman, he is wise, respected, a little cranky old man. He loves his job as a muralist and he is very good at it. He blinded himself because of the domination of Western arts, which he strongly dislikes.
Hi everybody, now we will talk about two persons in our book. First person is Esther. She is a Jewish peddler and everyone despises her. She is not the most important character in the book, but with our murderer, she is the most intelligent person. She has total control over the dangerous people, but her most important characteristical thing is about colors. Except for the Esther, all characters tells their black and white world, and they tells only the color of red. And also only in Esther's world there are colors like green from the Chinese silk, and yellow from a house, purple and a blue from the sky. And from this aspect, she is an earthly character. Maybe in the book she is the window outside of Istanbul, the ships from the east and the west, and the colors from combining characters. And our second character is Zarif Efendi. Unfortunately, he dies in the first chapter. But if we make a description about his characteristical things and features, he loves his paintings, and these are so important for him and for his family. And he is the most important muralist, and that's all.
Kelebek is one of the important muralists of the mural house. However, he cannot be happy since he cares about other people's opinion more than his art. Zeytin is another important muralist. He is in love with his art, but he is indecisive and unorganized. Because of that, Ustad Osman thinks that he is not talented. Leylek is the last of the important muralists of the mural house. He underestimates others and rather a snob character.